Well, hello everyone. Viking Guitar here, and we're going to do a quick little audio tip today. Now, have you ever found yourself in this situation where you have two different audio files that are very similar, and you need to compare them to find how they're different? Now, one example of this could be if you're going to be mastering a song and you have a mix and then you have an alternate version of the mix, and maybe something very minute has been changed. The bass guitar has been raised by maybe a decibel, or there's a small little edit somewhere in the file, and you need to quickly zero in on what's different so you can figure out how you move forward. That's what we're talking about here. Now, we're going to be doing this in Reaper, but same process pretty much applies to any digital audio workstation. So let's jump over to Reaper. Here we are in Reaper, and as you can see, we have two different tracks. One is labeled Mix A, the other is labeled Mix B. These are two different versions of a mix of a Castlevania 3 metal cover that I did a while back. And this could be a situation you encounter maybe as a mastering engineer, maybe as a mixing engineer. If a client sends you an updated version of a file, and you know that the timing of the file, it starts at the same time, it ends at the same time, but there's something different in here. Now, what you could do is you could listen through it, and using your ability to objectively listen to two different, very similar sound files, you might be able to right away tell the difference. But this is a way to kind of speed things along. So what we're going to do is create a third track here. And we are going to take both of these tracks. I hold Control on a PC to select both of them, hold Shift, click on the route button, drag it to here, and now both of these tracks are routed to this third track. We're going to call this Sum. And here's the important part. We're going to take one of these, doesn't matter which, and we're going to flip the phase. Now, what that's going to do is create a lot of phase cancellation if we play both of these at the same time. In fact, it's going to cancel out everything except what's different between these two versions of the audio file. So if we mute this track for the time being and just listen back with both of these playing, you'll hear there's some difference. That sounds like bass guitar to me. Now, what that's telling me is that the bass is different between these two files. It's not telling me which one is louder or which one is quieter or if there's an EQ change. That's up to you. This is just going to be a quick helper tool to kind of help you narrow down on where the differences are. So we already have something really cool where we can hear the differences, but let's take it a step further. So we have both of these routed to this track, and what we're going to do is just right-click on this, go to Render, Render tracks to stereo. Let it do its thing. Now we have a new track here with a new file. Let's delete this third track because it's extraneous. We'll take these two and mute them because we don't need them. And let's look at this guy. Here is the magic. So this new waveform is representative of the differences between these two files. So if we want to quickly look through and see where there are differences or what differences there are, this helps. Let's take a look at the start here. So there's some difference in that affected guitar here and in the lead guitar sounds here. For a lot of the song, it's just this bassline purple waveform. That's just the bass guitar, so we know that through a lot of the song, the bass guitar has been treated somewhat differently. And we can go over here to this. Once again, a lot of lead guitar coming through, so that lets us know that probably the lead guitar, or at least that lead guitar track, has been changed between these two mix revisions. Now, once again, this isn't going to solve all of your problems, but it will speed things up if you have, say, an updated version of a guitar track where they've done a little bit of timing editing to one little part of it, and they didn't tell you where. This will help you narrow down where it is. If they sent two versions of a mix that sound almost identical and you can't figure out exactly what's different, you can do this trick and see, hey, oh, it's just the bass guitar that changed, or just the drums. Now, one thing to mention about this is that if you're using two different versions of a bounce that relies on round-robin sampling or something like that, say most drum trackers, those are going to be picking different drum samples at random every time, so it might not be as helpful there. Once again, limited use case, very helpful. And that's it. This is not a tool to use in every case. As you can see, there are limitations here, but when you need this, it'll save you a lot of time. Thanks for checking out the video. If you're ever interested in any audio production or mixing mastering work, feel free to reach out. And until next time, keep the world metal.